What's happening, everybody? Willie here, good old wanna go fishing. You know, we found those two reels up in Toanna, Virginia at a place called Protect Fishing. And I just felt like the second reel that I found, even though it was kind of the, how do I say, the beginning of the end for the Johnson company when they started building these particular reels. And I don't want to say this one in general, but when they started going to this style of reel, I should say. When you're kind of mixing plastics with metals and, you know, just after the 100 Bs and things like that, 110 Bs, they started going to a different realm of, and I don't want to say it was just them. A lot of companies did. A lot of Zebco was already doing, at that point in time, doing complete plastic reels as far as the shells go and things of that. The internals, some of them were metal, the parts were metal and stuff, but you know, plastic was the thing of the future. You know, it was, in my personal opinion, and I don't know this for a fact, but I think they realized that they graduated, people graduated from the plastic reels or from spin cast reels. And when you graduated from a spin cast reel, you moved up to a bait caster or a spinning reel or something like that. So they didn't want to put a lot of time and money into something that they knew that you weren't going to use a long time. And that's just personal opinion myself. But I'm going to show you real quick here. There you go. This is what the mixture of plastic and steel began to look like. Got a plastic body and an alloy cap with a steel crank arm and then a steel drag nut, drag star there. Now, I mean, now of course, let me say plastic. It says graphite. Okay, it says graphite. Now, I can tell you that I wasn't a fan of these, but this one still functions. It still kind of works. So I am not going to be unfair to this reel, and we are going to give it a fair shake, take it apart, see if we can get it working better, and then quite possibly take it out, give it a shot. I mean, it still functions kinda. Now, I don't know what the tangle-free scenario was. When I take it apart, I guess I'll find out. But it seems like at this point, everything appears to kind of be working. So what I'm going to do is drag you down to the table here, and we're going to disassemble this fella and cross our fingers. All right. Well, we're going to start with the old cap here. Oh dear. There is dead spiders. Spider nests. That's hideous. I might ought to go drag this thing under the water real quick before I even go this far. I think what I'm going to do before I go too far here, I'm going to take this thing and rinse it off and get all the dead spiders and bugs and all that junk out of here. Let me go do that and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I just cleaned out. I didn't take it apart. I just cleaned all the bugs and stuff out. So once you take the cap off, your plastic base cover will just come apart. And what you're going to see in there is an extremely simplistic, internal gearing. Now, I'm going to take this thing apart. I mean, we're going to hope that I can get it back together again. Like I said, it's not very complicated, but I'm just hoping that we don't have any pieces that break or stuff like that. We'll get the nut off of the crank arm here so we can get the, if you notice, the star is really rusted bad. So it must have been just bare steel, chrome, whatever, I don't know, but the chrome is coming off. It just goes to show you that, you know, things were getting cheaper, which is unfortunately what happens to companies, put that in there, when they start skimping on stuff. Crank arm, which by the way I can tell you that that's been chewed on by mice right there. You can see that. Let's see, does that just pry off or do I have to unscrew that off of there? It unscrews. So we have that, which I will do my best to try to clean up. And that is steel because that's sticking right in that magnetic bowl right there. We have a washer, a U-shaped spring washer, okay. Then we have a normal washer. We got to pull that off of there. Now what is impressive is that it looks like it's the same style as the old ones. They've used the same rotor as the old guys, but I think they must have cheated on the chrome on it because it's trying to come off there. We have the same version of centerpiece that actually sets the retrieval pin out. And there. Now we can get our spool off, which is plastic. You see that's a plastic spool. It's not, and it only goes in one way. Now we can take this gear out. So there's the main gear. We'll get that cleaned up, and that doesn't look bad. That doesn't look like that's been beat up too badly. And then of course, okay, how did that come out? How did I just do that? Okay, that goes in there. I got to figure out how everything goes in here now. Not complicated, but just a little different. Now that is a pretty heavy-duty gear right there, despite the other cheapness of everything in the graphite world. So what we're going to do now that we've got her all apart, is go clean it up. Get all the grease and all the junk off everything, and there's no spacers, no washers there. We got old grease inside there. So anyway, we're going to take that. I'm going to go clean it up, and I will be back with you momentarily. This one should not be very complicated when it comes to the cleaning process. So let's get her cleaned up and get her back together again. And maybe, that thing don't look that bad. And maybe we can get her out to the water as well. But anyway, let's get this taken care of. Let's go get it cleaned up. I'll be right back. Okay, so we are all cleaned up now, but I'm going to have to say, there was a lot more parts inside that thing than I thought. A few things came apart that I'm going to have to try to figure out how to get back together again. I'm pretty sure I can figure it out, but let's get them all out of here. Got to dry some of them off here. Now we just got to figure out where do we begin in the rebuilding process. This all cleaned up. This graphite body housing here, whatever you want to call it, it actually cleaned up really well. The side gear has to go in first. We're going to push that on through here. Get the little clicker thing in there. And then this little bushing here, tapered in, goes down like that. Then we got this little sleeve that goes over there like that. If I got everything right, this gear goes through here and that hole right there. Okay, we got that. We have the washer. Come on, get on there. We have that. Then we have this little U-shaped washer's got to go back on there. Then we have our drag star. Okay, now we're getting somewhere now. We weren't getting very far there at first. That's rolling a lot better than it did when we took her apart. Guess we need to put that spool on here. Now see, that spool's got little dots, and there's a stopper up here, a little stop piece, and those dots, one of them two got to, it'll pop into, I say it'll, what it'll do is, it should pop right into place. There it goes. Did you hear that pop into place? That's what happens when it pops into place. Then we got to put this fancy copper slide thing back on, like so. And of course we have our spinner that's got the chrome missing. It's really amazing, the gearing on this. This thing was not used much, because it is really, the gearing and stuff is in great shape. I mean, it's in really, really good shape. There's not a bit of gear growl in any way, shape, or form on this thing. There we go. And let's dry that nut off there. Get that back on there. Then we can put our plastic body back on here. And then our fancy cap, which I have cleaned up. Wait a minute, I want to put a little grease on these threads. I know it's just graphite or whatever, but this just helps keep things moving in the right direction. And she's working. Now I'm going to say that this reel here probably was not used very much. The gearing on it is absolutely clean as a whistle. I mean, it kind of looks like it was just bought, thrown somewhere. Other than the marks on the handle here from mice chewing on it. I don't know where they had it hiding at, but it was hiding somewhere that spiders and things like that could build inside of it. Other than the drag star having a lot of rust on it, actually it came out really good. And I don't normally look forward to using reels like this. This era, I guess, is more what I want to say. But I'm actually looking forward to trying this one. I want to see what it'll do. They definitely were not built at this particular time frame to be around forever. But this one is still around. The Johnson Tangle Free 8. Tangle Free 8. Now I don't know what the 8 stands for. I have no idea. I haven't looked any of this stuff up. Has a graphite body, says so on the tag right there that the paint was coming off of. An aluminum cap. Some metal and copper interior, but mostly graphite. And that's working just fine. So hey, let's get this one out there too. You know, why not? I'll find another rod over here, and it's working fine. You know, I realize it's not the greatest reel that ever was put out on the planet. It's definitely not what these green guys were, but it's still around. It's still doing its thing, and we're going to take it out and go fishing with it, and I'm going to give it a fair shake. I'm not going to down it till it gives me a reason to down it. I still think this is made a little better than some of the plastic Zebcos were. So we'll take it out. We'll put it on a reel. We'll let this guy catch a fish again. Living the dream. One fish at a time. Hey, thank you guys for watching. I very much appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed this. The Johnson Tangle Free 8. Working great. It's a shame Johnson's not still in business. That might have worked out quite well. The Johnson Tangle Free 8. Working great. Hello everyone. You know, here recently it seems like I have been opening a lot of boxes. Box number 2. Now, box number 2 has a lot to do with that right there. The Tangle Free 8 by Johnson Company. Now, as we know, or maybe we don't know, I can't even remember if I filmed it now. Seriously, they're all starting to blend together now. But the Johnson Tangle Free 8 is a graphite made frame. Now, even though I got this thing to work really well, I mean really well, it makes a little gurgle in there, but it didn't look like the gears had ever been used. It didn't look like the thing had ever been casted. I don't see any line marks like where it'd been coming in and out or casted here. There is like little to no wear whatsoever on the crank arm except for where the mouse chewed it, right there on the side. So what we're going to do is resurrect. Now, because the foot broke, I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm going to get out of the way so you can. I put it on a reel. I put it on a rod. You can't put a reel on a reel because then it would be a double barrel, and I think those are illegal in the state of Nebraska. Anyway, the foot broke. It happens. This is the second or third one I've had do that, and it just seems like there could be a flaw in the graphite, the pouring. I've talked with my buddy Dan Selvig, and he said that that has happened, that there can be a air bubble or something in the flaw of the mold or the pouring of the graphite, and it happens. Now, let's just face it. These reels are basically what killed the Johnson company. I think if they would have kept building these guys, stayed out of China. Where's this one made? This is made in USA. So anyway, if they would have just stayed out of the Chinese game and kept making what made them who they are, I think things would have, you know, you had a really, really good platform to work from with the 100s and the 110s and A's and B's and all that stuff. But unfortunately, this one broke, and it does not fit in a rod no matter what you do. I mean, you could take a hose clamp or something and put it in the rod and tighten it down, and it would stay, and you could use it if you were in a pinch and this happened while you were out fishing or something and you had a hose clamp in your pocket. Now see, some people may look at that and go, man, who keeps a hose clamp in their pocket? Well, you haven't driven some of the junk I drive. Let me show you what's in this next box. What is in box number 2, Willie? All of a sudden, it's became a boomerang. Dan, you do a really good job of taping. I just want to say that now. Really good tape. Okay, there's a good possibility this box will never get used again. So, what is in box number 2? Box number 2 has a cousin in here. Not related to me. She's noisy though. And noisy, and something in there isn't working right. Let's just see what. This is the Century. It's a Century call, a Century 225, Johnson Century 225. And from what I have been told, and what Dan has kind of done some homework for me, is told me that these reels, oh, there's no spinner, they carry the same frame. And if that is true, we should be able to take all the good innards out of the Tangle Free and put it over in the 225. There you go. Now, I could change cranks if I wanted to on here, but you know, the crank with the mouse chewing on it really just has personality. Okay, and there is the unbroken frame that we are going to use on the Johnson Tangle Free 8. Let's set that over here. Other than mine being broken, so far everything looks identical. I still like the rat chew on the side there, but I don't know, man. That's going to be rough on the old fingers. We might have to put the other crank on there just because it's in better shape. Okay, what do y'all think? Leave the rat chew, take the rat chew out. I agree with you. Let's take the rat chew out. I mean, it is nifty that it has, but I mean, that's the whole thing about updating and upgrading and all that. We're making it better. So let's make it better. I do think it's cool, but I would rather not have that rubbing against my fingers. Poor old broken body. And sadly, that's like worth nothing now. It's useless. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that. So let's set Worthless over here. All right, here we go. We're going to put the new crank, which does not have mousy chews on it. I'm going to put that on here. It does fit. That is a plus. I ain't kidding. All right, and the nut that holds that on, mine's in better shape, so we will take and put that on. And we'll take yon wrench, And you're probably thinking, man, why don't you have wrenches that fit these things? Well, do you know how many doggone wrenches I'd have to have in here to fit these? And it's not like we're putting together the space shuttle or anything. We're putting together reels from the 60s, 50s, 40s, 90s, and 70s. And 106s. Okay, there we go. That is in there. The anti-reverse is working like it should. You know what's kind of funny, and me and Dan were talking about this, is how we actually want to see this reel go fish a little bit more than we do the other, the 110B, but I'm sorry, 100B. And why is that exactly? And it has to do with being the underdog. To me, that's what it's got to be. All right. Now, this is the graphite. Oh, it says graphite on top. I'm sorry. The tag, it says graphite Tangle Free 8. Basically, that is the entire reel. That is the guts. That is everything. That, and there it goes, right on there. Isn't that crazy? It's nuts. I'm telling you. I wouldn't lie to y'all. So then we'll put our cap on. This is the cap that came off of the Tangle Free. And there you have it, people. We have remanufactured, no, we have revived, revitalized, recycled, any other thing that you can add re to, we've probably just taken care of. And it's so breezy. Let me angle this camera upwards so you can get a good look at me. Because I know y'all have never really gotten a good look at me, and I'm the host of this doggone show. I'm the one doing all the work. Why should the reels get all the credit? Heidi-ho! It's me, Willie, up here. That is just as quiet. Slightest little bit of gear growl, but we have spares. We have spares. Everything's working. Everything's working. So again, just like with the last one, with the 100B, daggone it, we got to go fishing. Tangle Free, Century 100B. We're going to throw this 100B first. This is a triumphant moment right here, folks. From the display case to the lake. Come on, fish. Don't do me wrong today. Water's really low. Here we go. Wow, that went really far. I ain't kidding you, that is probably, man, that's gotta be 80 feet, 75 feet I'm casting that thing. I definitely gotta figure out what's making it so hard to reel though. Oh, we got one. We got one. We got one. Oh, this is awesome. What a great day this is right now. What a great day this is right now. We got a crappie. We got a crappie, people. We caught a fish. There you go. From the display case to the lake. There we go. The Century from the display case has caught its first crappie, and we have no idea how long. What a great day. What a great, great day. I don't care if it's a little guy or not. It's a great day. It was worth the drive. Thank you, buddy. See if we can't do that a couple more times. Usually in this pond, when you get into the crappie, they start hitting, but my phone is ringing. Someone is texting me. Oh, there we go. We got another one. We got another one. Awesome. This is absolutely awesome. Yeah, I slowed my retrieve down some so it stayed down deeper. There we go. We got us another one. Well, there's two with the 100B. Now, let's do something. Let's drop the 100B right here and break out this guy. The Johnson Tangle Free. Now, I don't know anything about what makes it the tangle free. I have no idea. But we changed, and I got dirt, sand all over that one too now. We changed the frame, as you saw. This is all brand new frame, whole brand new setup for another reel that was in the same cabinet as the 100B. And I've never used one of these, ever. So all I can say is, let's see what happens. We got 6-pound line on this one. Well, even with 6-pound line, that casts pretty far. And the question is will we get it back? Oh, we got hit twice. Oh, he let go. Oh, and he came back and got it. That must be a bass. There's no way that it is. So I'm gonna say, man, I knew daggone well that won't no crappie. He came back and hit that thing like 3 times. But there's the first catch with the Tangle Free 8. He's a little guy, but that's his first fish. So again, from the display case to the lake. This thing reels really easily, really easily. Very impressed. I would rather have this right at the moment compared to a Zebco 33, I'll be honest with you. It's a lot quieter and seems to work a lot easier, and it's definitely easier to work on. And I mean, this thing is just like pointing a pistol. Anywhere you point it, is the direction it goes in. That's really impressive. Which technically, I mean, shouldn't it be that way? But it's not all the time like that. Every now and then I hear a little rub of some kind in there. I'm not sure what that is. I think it has something to do with the switch though, or the button. Okay, we've switched to the, what I like to call the bluegill killer here. Purple and chartreuse with the sparkle in it. We're gonna try that, and I also switched to the old pink and white Charlie Brewer on the other rod, the 100B. And let's see if some brighter colors, other than the shad style colors, produce anything. Now, I'd like to know what the 8 is for. I don't understand what it says, Tangle Free 8, but I don't know what that 8 means. Oh, goodness gracious. That had to be a bluegill as hard as that hit. Yeah. I told you, the bluegill killer. Look at that. That's just unbelievable. Thank you, Mr. Gill. Appreciate you playing along with us today. It's been a long time. I know y'all haven't seen me in a while. And away he goes. All right. That gill liked that. So we're going to stick with that for the moment and see what else we can do. Oh, I think we got one. We do. We got one. Oh, this has got some size to it. Come on, Tangle Free. Whatever we got, let's get him in. I can feel the Tangle Free flexing really bad. That obviously there's a weak point right here. And I mean, I could feel that thing flexing just on this little crappie right here that just whacked it. Oh, me. So again, you know, there's part of, you know, the downfall of these reels. They had weak points in the frame, which we already know because that's why we had to fix it the first time. And we got a crappie on the old bluegill killer this time. Whoa, what did I just do? Something tangled up somewhere. Let's take a look at what's happened here. We've had our first malfunction. And my guess is it's tangled up underneath of the spool. Just guessing. Put that nut right there. Put that down there. And dear goodness, yes, it is tangled up under there. And it is tangled up under there big time. Okay, so there's our first breakdown let's obviously I've got some untangling to do. I got to get the hairpin out. I'm gonna have to retie a bunch of stuff. So I'll see y'all back here in just a minute. Now I just want to show you something that I've noticed here about this one, and I probably should have brought the other spinner, the rotor here. If you notice, now remember when I got this thing, it was bent. It was bent to one side like that. I think this rotor is actually bent. I should have brought the one that came with the other reel. If you notice it, watch it as it goes around. If you can see it. It's kind of doing the hoop-de-hoop. It's kind of lifting on one side and not the other. And I really don't want to bend on it while it's on the reel. So what might be happening here is it got bent at some point. I may have just straightened it out, but it don't take much. The metals and stuff from that time frame, they're not super strong by any means. And again, that's something I just didn't look at when I put it back together again. I was just so eager to get the thing back out on the water and get it fixed, that some of those things like that gear being in the wrong direction and that kind of stuff, I ignored it. Or I won't say I ignored it, I just didn't even notice it. But anyway, I got the line out from underneath of it, and I took about 10-12 feet of line off of it because I think I may have overspooled it slightly. It didn't look like it when I did it, but I could have, because when the line starts getting a little bit looser from use, it can end up getting bound up in the rotor, which we kind of see that's what happened. Okay, figured something out just now. If you notice that this gear in here, and I don't know that you can see it, it's kind of recessed. It really needs to be, if you can see that, it needs to be about right there to keep this thing spinning freely, but it doesn't. If you notice, you can push it down in there and it's kind of recessed. Now, I don't know if there is a difference in the length of the shaft, because you can see it needs to be about right in there. Because without the rotator on there, the rotor, this thing spins really easily. It spins very freely, as a matter of fact. But you put that rotor on and bolt it down, and it pulls that thing up. And then it's hard to turn. So I got to figure out what's going on in there. Maybe we can fix that here. I don't know. But I'm definitely not going to try to do it over here in the dirt. But I want to keep fishing. So at this point, we're going to use it like it is, in providing it doesn't keep tangling up in the top up there, which I'm not quite understanding why it's doing that. But I got to figure out what I can do, because remembering the insides of this thing and how it looks, there's just no way to make that stay up further. Because if it's cut differently, then that's where the problem is, and that's why it's so hard to turn. So I'm gonna put it back on for right now anyway. I probably should have brought the other spinner with me. I got a couple of them at the house, and we'll try to figure out what's going on there. But if it binds up the line up in the top again, I'm probably going to have to stop using it, because I just don't know why it's doing it at this point. Other than the gear and the spinner just don't work with each other well. Yeah, see, that's... It's not as bad, but let's go ahead and put this thing back together. We'll get us a bobber and a hook on it and see if we can't catch us some gills. Okay, we are bobbered up, baited up. We're gonna cross our fingers and hope the old 100B will continue to stay with us. But it's been giving me some problems, so we'll find out. Let's see if that bobber begins to bob. Oh, we're bobbing. We're bobbing. Now we're swimming. We got one. I knew they just couldn't resist it. There's no way they can all resist that daggone bait. Hello, Gil. Little tiny girl. There we go. Got something else. What are you? Another crappie? No, or we got a little bass. What is this? Tangle free. You're getting ready to get all up in the other line. That's all right. Another little guy. Appreciate you playing though. Okay, I'm going to show you one of the major flaws in the Tangle Free is tolerances that you do not have. What's crawling on my neck? That you do not have here. See how much play you have there? I mean, it's like there should be another bushing somewhere. Almost like there should be another bushing right here, because you cannot, I mean, you just can't get it out of it, even with the drag all the way. Okay, even with the drag all the way, you cannot get that play out of there. So, does it work? Yes. Is it well made? No. But that's, you know, that's what you get. That's just what it is. That's what they were made to do. Be cheap and easy and work for a little while and, you know, fish if you can. Did I catch some fish with it? Yes. Are we done with it for right now? Yes. Because it's just, the longer I use it, junkier it's getting. Well, there you go. You know, not a whole lot of fish were caught, but there's still a huge amount of gratification that you get from taking two objects like those two reels that had spent a century or more probably in a showcase not doing anything, and getting them out here and doing what they're supposed to do and take them apart. There's something there. There's just something about that. It's why people rebuild old cars. It's why people restore old furniture, rebuild old houses and things like that. There's a gratification you get there for giving something that had a life, had a past, a new future, to make more memories for the next person. And there's something cool about that. Now, am I going to tell you that we have had a trouble-free day? We have not, as you saw. Both reels, for whatever reason, decided that the line needed to go off the spool and wrap around the shaft up top. I removed quite a bit of line from both reels, trying to take care of that situation. It helped. Didn't do it as much by any means, but the Tangle Free, what a play on words that is, it got tangled several more times after that. The graphite body, though, works on fish, catching fish. It flexes really bad and in the middle, right where that smallest little triangle for the foot meets the body. Anything with any size, I'm not sure that thing would have held up. Does it cast far? It does. Does it reel in okay? It does. But it's very sloppy. It's very sloppy. The tolerances for that, when you're dealing with that graphite, I showed you, there's a lot of play in the thing. So after the last tangle on the Tangle Free 8, I just stopped using it. So we went to the 100B. Okay, the 100B is basically still a work in progress. It's hard to turn. It's hard to retrieve the crank and everything. But you take the rotor off, turns free as a bell. So something there, either the spring mechanism that pushes on the trigger that pulls down on the rotor when you put the nut on top, is too much spring and it's really pulling it too tight, or the gears are too meshed together. They're too crushed into each other. Either way, it's going to have to come apart, and we're going to have to take a look and see what we can do to modify it and make that thing work like it's supposed to. So there you go. I hope y'all enjoyed this. This was quite a, I don't even know, episode-wise, this was one of the more, to me, I've had more fun with this one than I have quite a few of them, because of basically of where the reels were found and how they were found, and being able to call friends for help and say, hey, do you have, yes, I do have, and they send it to you. Take things apart and make them work again. It's just fun. I don't know what else to tell you other than I enjoy it. I hope you enjoy watching it. If you don't enjoy watching it and you want to do it, do it. Or if you don't enjoy watching it, don't watch. Sit there all that time watching and don't like it. Huff and puff. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate you. And we'll see you on the next one, whatever the next one may be. You don't think for a second I was leaving here without ice cream, do you?